Hello. In last sessions, we discussed about the dividend policy and firm value through Walter model based on the various assumptions have been made by Walter. Now we are moving to the another model for the dividend policy and firm valuations means dividend capitalizations approach and firm value based on the assumptions have been defined by Mr. Gordon. Now let's see what is the impact on the value of the stock if there is a dividend payout ratio is changing according to this model. Now before proceed of the calculations part, we have to understand which are the assumptions under this model. So first assumptions by Mr. Maron Gordon, the first it is that the retained earnings represent the only source of financing for the firm. Hence, retained earnings is only the source of financing of the firms. As we discussed earlier case into the capital structure, there are main two types of the source of funds. One is equity, another is dividend. Into the equity, we can find uh, ordinary shares, even preference shares. We can consider retained earnings, and into the debt, bank loan we can consider debentures or bonds we can consider, right? But here it is the case into the capital structure or into the valuations of your firm, only we have to consider the retained earnings. So the thus like the Walter model, the Gordon model ties investment decisions to dividend decisions. So the investment, whatever the investment you are doing into the company, it is based on your retained earnings. There is no another source of finance to be used. Right. Same assumptions it has been made by Walter also. So there is no change into these assumptions between Walter and Gordon. The second assumption is the rate of return on firm's investment is constant. Rate of return means your R is constant. Means there is no change into the R over a period of time. Same assumptions has been made in Walter also. Right. The growth rate of the firm is the product of its retentions ratio. Now here the case is retentions ratio because you are utilizing the retained earnings as a uh, investment. So if you are doing the investment through the retained earnings, you are also expecting the growth of your investment, means the company is also expecting the growth whatever the investment they are doing, right? So the growth rate of the firms of the product of its return ratio and its rate of return. The cost of capital for the firms remains constant, means discount rate, your cost of capital. Your cost of capital, this is K as we discussed in earlier case. It should be constant. There is no change into your cost of capital. And it is greater than the growth rate. Your cost of capital is greater than, means higher than your growth rate. Right? The firm has a perpetual life. It is perpetual life. It's infinite. Right? And the tax does not exist. There is no corporate tax applicable in this case. So these are the assumptions, and most of the assumptions are remain same as per the Walter model. So there is no change into the Walter model's assumptions and Gordon model's assumptions. Only there is a change into the about the retentions ratio. Now these calculations is based on the retentions ratio and the dividend payout ratio. We can say that. Now, what is the formula of Gordon model for calculations of your stock price, for calculations of your firm value? Let's see what is the formula. Okay, the Gordon valuations through the functions P0, it is a price per share at the end of year 0. E1 is equal to E1, that is earning per share at the end of year 1, multiply 1 minus B. B is a retention ratio. B is a retention ratio. So 1 minus B is dividend payout ratio, right? So for example, I am earning 1 rupees. Out of 1 rupees, 25 paisa I am distributing as a dividend. So my retention is 75 paisa, or vice versa, according to the whatever the dividend distributions ratio you have. So if you have a dividend distributions ratio, you can also find the retentions ratio. So it means 100% earnings you have, out of 100%, whatever the proportions you are distributing as a dividend, the remains proportions you have a retentions. Divide by K, that is cost of capital or discount rate, minus B, retentions ratio, multiply with R. So B is multiplying with R. Why it is there? B is multiplying with the R is nothing but whatever the retentions I am doing into the organizations, I am expecting the return on that investment. I'm expecting the growth for the organizations, right? So cost minus whatever the return I am generating through the investment, this difference I have to find, right? Now first we are taking, as we have seen that into the Walter model, we discussed the three different types of the firm. Growth firm, where your R is greater than K, means your rate of return is greater than your cost of capital. This is growth firm. Second firm, it is normal firm, where the R is equal to your cost of capital. And the third is declining firm, means this the firm available into the market where the return on investment is lower than the cost of capital. This is called the declining firm. Now under the different three firms, we are using the different dividend distributions ratio or retentions ratio, and what is the impact on the stock price. If I am changing the dividend policy into the growth firm, what is the stock price change? If I am changing the dividend policy, mean dividend distributions ratio, what is the impact into the stock price in normal firm? And if I am taking the declining firm, we are also changing dividend policy, and what is the impact on the stock price. Let's see the first about the growth firm, where the R is greater than K. Now under the growth firm, we have the R 20%, K cost of capital 15%. It is clear, R is greater than R. Here we have 20%, K is 15%, means R is greater than K. It is growth firm. E, that is earning at the end of year 1, is rupees 4. Now this is the situations, and if B, retentions ratio, is 25%. If retentions ratio means you have the earning of 4 rupees, retention is 25%, means 25% of 4 rupees. 1 rupees you have a retentions, means 75% as a dividend distribution. So 75% of 4 rupees is 3 rupees. So out of 4 rupees you are retaining into the organizations for the investment 1 rupee, and 3 rupees you are distributing as a dividend. So under these situations, what should be the stock price? Let's see the calculations. Okay, the price of the stock is E, earning for the period E is 4 rupees. We have 1 minus B. So 1 minus B is 25. So 1 minus 0.25. So it is 0.75. Divide by K, cost of capital 15%. We have 0.15 minus B, that is retentions 25%, means 0.25, and R we have a 20%, so 0.2. So we are getting the price 30 rupees. Okay, under these situations, what is the price? It is 30 rupees. If you have such situations that the 25% retention ratio and 75% dividend payout ratio, if R is 20%, which is greater than 15% cost of capital, your price as per the given information of the stock is 30 rupees. Okay, now I am doing the change from 25% retentions. I am increasing the retentions from 25 to 50%. So if your firm is under the growth firm, means your rate of return is greater than cost of capital, and you are increasing your retentions ratio, means distributions of dividend is decreasing, it means, right? So what is the impact on the stock price? Now here I am taking from 25% retentions to 50% retentions. If B is 0.50, then what is the price? So price of the stock is, earning is 4 rupees, 1 minus B, 1 minus 0.5, so it is 0.5 divided by cost of capital 0.15 minus retentions 0.5 and R is 20% 0.2. So the price here we are getting 40%, 40 rupees. You can see that. What is the price here? 40 rupees. So what does it mean? Okay, if it is a growth firm where the R is greater than your cost of capital and you are increasing the retentions ratio, you are increasing the retentions ratio, the price of the stock is also increased. Means if you are into the growth firm already, your return generated by the investment through retained earnings is more than your cost of capital, so your retention is increasing into the organizations of the firm, valuations are also increased. Simple, right? We are taking the another case under the normal form. R is equal to K, means your return on investment is equal to cost of capital. Now R here we are taking 15%, cost of capital is 15%, so R is equal to cost of capital. Earning remains same 4 rupees, and the if retention is 25%, means dividend payout is 75%. So what is the price of your stock? So 4.75, 1 minus 0.25 means 0.75 divided by cost of capital 0.15 minus 0.25 retentions and R is 0.15. So the price is 26.67. Now if it is a normal form, if it is a normal form where R is equal to K, and if your retentions ratio is 25%, the price of the stock is comes to the 26.67 according to the given informations with given R, K, earning and the retentions ratio. The price of the stock is 26.67. Now if your R is equal to K and I am doing the change into the dividend policy, is there any impact on the stock price? I have to check it out. Okay, now from 25% we are increasing retentions to 50%. Then what is the change into the stock price? Okay, P is equal to 4 earnings 1 minus P, that is 1 minus 0.5 divided by cost of capital 0.15 minus B 0.5 50% and R is 15%. Okay, 26.67. Here you can find it. What is the change here? Okay, these are the changes applicable. Okay, if under the normal form where the return generated by the companies through the retentions investment and your cost of capital is equal, R is equal to K, even you are doing the change into the retentions ratio, even your policy of the dividend distributions is changed, it is immaterial, irrelevant into the stock price. In both the cases you can find 26.67, 26.67 from 25% to 50% retentions. So there is no impact on the stock price, means there is no impact on the firm value, right? Whether you are doing the change into your dividend policy, it is irrelevant under the normal firm case. Now the third case about the declining firm, where R is less than your cost of capital. So here we are taking the R is 10%, cost of capital is 15%, means R is less than cost of capital. E is rupees 4, and if with the same retentions ratio as first, we are taking it 25%. So what is the firm value, stock price? So P is 4, 0.75, 1 minus 1 minus B, 1 minus 0.25, so 0.75 divided by cost of capital 0.15 minus B retentions 25%, so 0.25 multiply R is 10%, so 0.10. So we are getting 24 rupees. The price is 24 rupees in this case, right? Now I am increasing the retentions ratio from 25% to 50%. If the firm is under the declining, what is the impact? If B is 50% from 25%, what is the price? So 4, 1 minus P 0.5, cost of capital is 50%, 15%, 0.15 minus retentions 0.5, R is 0.10, so it is 20, rupees 20. Now here you can find what is the change. Okay, if your firm is under the declining, I have changed your R is less than K from 25% to 50%. If I am increasing the retentions ratio under the declining firm, the stock price is also decreased. Now what does it mean? Okay, if your firm is already under the declining mode, if you are increasing the retentions, means your value of the firm is decreasing, right? So what are the implications here? What are the implications? Okay, when the rate of return is greater than the discount rate, R is greater than the cost of capital, the price per share increase as the dividend payout ratio is decreased. Here you can say that if it is growth firm, the price is increased if dividend distribution payout ratio is decreasing. Means if it is already growth firm, if you want to increase the price of the stock, you have to decrease your dividend distributions ratio under the Gordon model, right? And you are using the only the source of, this is the assumptions, only the source of retained earnings for the investment, then it is applicable under this model. Second is when the rate of return is equal to discount rate, normal form, the price per share remains unchanged in response to variations in the dividend payout ratio. See, it is irrespective whether you are increasing or decreasing the dividend distributions, there is no impact on the stock price. In both the cases, we have 26.67 rupees. So it is immaterial you are doing the change into the your dividend policy and your firm is under the normal firm case. And the third case, as we have seen, that when the rate of return is less than the discount rate, the price per share is increased as the dividend payout ratio is increased. Here you can find the price per share is increased. So here we can find from 20 rupees to 24 rupees under the dividend distributions. So the price per share increases. Now here dividend payout ratio is 75%. Here dividend payout ratio is 50%. So if 50% dividend distributions, then 20 rupees. Now if 75% dividend distributions, then it is a 24 rupees. Means increasing the dividend distributions, the price is also increased. So if your firm is under the declining firm and you are distributing the more dividend, the price of the stock is also increased, means it is impacting on your firm valuations. So what is the basic implications based on this dividend policy? Okay, the optimal payout ratio for the growth firm is, what is the optimal payout ratio? In this case, under the growth firm, what is the optimal payout ratio? Okay, if you are looking to increase stock price, you have to decrease the payout ratio. So optimal payout ratio under the growth firm is nil. The payout ratio for normal firm is irrelevant. Whatever the changes you are doing, it is a immaterial, irrelevant for the firm. You are doing the change into the dividend policy or not, the price would be remain same. And the third case is optimal payout ratio for declining firm, because declining firm maximum dividend payout, you what you can, whatever the earnings you are generating, 100% payout you can do it, right? So the 100 payout, optimal payout ratio for the declining firm, because if you want to increase the stock price of your firm and your firm is under the declining mode, where the R is less than cost of capital, so optimal payout ratio is 100%, right? So these are the implications, and these implications we have also found into the Walter model, right? So the Gordon model and Walter model, we have found what is the impact. It is saying that, okay, if it is growth firm and declining firm, dividend policy is relevant with the firm valuations. If it is normal firm, then it is, we are finding that is irrelevant under the case, means whatever the dividend policy you are doing the change here, there is no impact on the stock price, right? So in this case it is fine. In next video we will discuss the case of approach, and what is the impact of the dividend policy through approach on the firm value, with the different assumptions of the approach. Hope you are clear up to here in both the cases under Walter model and Gordon model. Thank you.